about that in a second. Right? So we want to focus on things that they can control. Right? Their best effort, doing the things that we've shown that we can do in practice. And then that feeling of control will make our nervousness go down and make our confidence go up. And I know that you all want your kids to play with less nervousness and more confidence. So if that's the case, don't focus on things that they can't control, like the scoreboard, right? Like the other team. Only focus on the things that they've been practicing and that are within their control. If we can control the controllables, then we're going to be, research shows, more confident and less nervous. When we do that, we're going to try harder, we're going to stick to it longer, right? And we're going to get a little bit better, right? So, toughest thing to do is how do you handle a mistake? In your book, on page 37, it's a great take-home book, read it later. But when kids make, raise your hand if your kids have ever made a mistake and looked at you in the stands. Yeah, right? What are we going to do? Right? We're in the stands. And sometimes they'll look at the coach. Sometimes they'll look at their teammate. Sometimes they'll look down. If they look down, it's because they didn't want to look at their teammate or the coach or you. And so we've got to give them a little bit of something when they look to us. Because we want to train them not to look. Because they got to keep playing, right? We're in sports right now. We've got soccer, we've got basketball, there's stuff going on. They can't take the time to stop and look at coach, look at mom and dad when they make a mistake. So we want to have some sort of a sign or symbol. We talk to coaches about this, talk to teammates about it. You guys can do it too. Give them something. Come up with a sign or symbol. We talk about flushing mistakes. Right? They make a mistake, they look at you, you tell them to flush. You don't have to make a big deal about it, right? Flush. Right? Brush it out. Right? Shake it off. No sweat. Right? It's okay, thumbs up, whatever it is. But hey, when you make a mistake, you look at me in the stands, if I tell you thumbs up, just keep playing. Right? Don't worry about it. It's okay. That's what they want to know. They want that reassurance that the mistake is okay. That they didn't let you down. You still love them. They have a ride home. Right? Right? Because they think that's what they think. They think that they let you down. So we want to come up with some sort of a mistake ritual because mistakes are okay. They're opportunities to learn. Right? We've got to use them to get better at managing life. Right? We can't just ignore them. We've got to manage them and learn from them. Right? One of the ways we do that is by recognizing them and learning from them. Coaches are going to help them do that. When we communicate with our kids, right? Coaches communicate with their kids. Their teammates communicate with each other. We want to get to a particular ratio that fills their emotional tank. Right? Just like a car, right? When the emotional tank is filled, they can do a lot. When it's empty, they need to get it filled up. Right? Like, right now, it's warm in here, it's 7 o'clock at night, you guys have all had a long day. Right? You're draining a little bit. You need filled up a little bit. Right? We got to do something for our kids to make sure that happens. Because we don't want them to be pessimistic and give up. Think about it at home, moms and dads. Right? When your kids are in a bad mood, are they very parentable? Right? They're certainly not coachable. We want to make sure that they're in the kind of mood and their tanks are full so that we can coach them, we can parent them, we put them in a confident and coachable mood so that they can learn all the stuff that we're trying to teach. Right? But if they're negative and their tanks are drained, that's not going to happen. So we're going to try to get to this ratio. Right? We're going to try to get to the ratio of 5 positive memories for every criticism and correction. Research based on athletic teams, on businesses, in schools, in marriages. Right? Dr. John Gottman at the University of Washington did a study where he took married couples and he followed them and interviewed them and watched them on video for 10 minutes. And he wrote down their positive and negative, verbal and nonverbal exchanges. And then he predicted whether they would be married in 10 years or not. Called him back in 10 years, he's 93% correct based on this figure. Right? People that had 5-to-1 ratio, stay married longer, businesses were better, kids achieved more in school, teams win more. Right? So that 5-to-1 ratio is a group effort. Teammates have to treat each other well. Right? We talk to the players about that. How you can fill your teammates' emotional tank. Coaches have to use constructive criticism and have kid-friendly, athlete-friendly teaching methods so that it fills their tank. But it's in their job description to correct, right? And there's a 1 for a reason, right? There needs to be correction. We just have to go out of our way to balance that with 5 positive memories. We talked to administration about things that we can do to create positive memories in kids. Think about what your kids talk about when the season is over, or during the off season. Or if you have older kids, how they talk about their playing days, right? The things that they like. Right? They like nice fields, and they like games that go on time, and they like transportation, and they like uniforms, and they like school spirit, and they like all of the stuff that we work really hard at South Pasadena to provide. Right? Those are positive memories. That counts in this 5-1. If I'm your teammate, and I tell you you're doing a good job in practice, that counts towards that 5-1. Then when the coach corrects me one time, it's not that big a deal. We still have that ratio. But coaches and teammates in school can do a great job at this ratio, and it can be ruined in a 5-minute ride home if we don't manage it right after a tough game. Right? There's going to be tough games. There's going to be practices that you watch maybe that there's been a lot of correction. There's been some tank There's been some setbacks and failures. And as parents, we're in the stands, we can't do anything about that. So we've got to make up for it. Right? For every one of those setbacks and failures and criticisms, we've got to try to find a way to create some positive memories. Sometimes, like Summer Sanders said, it's about, pizza party and ice cream and some quarters. Or whatever, right? Sometimes it's letting the kid vent a little bit. Right? We don't always have to fix it. Okay? And I don't want to just talk to moms, but moms want to fix it. Right? They want their kids to, get over it and feel good and forget the failure and the struggle. And you know what? The struggle is a good thing. Right? The struggle is a good thing. Because what it does is it builds some grit, and it builds some resilience, and it builds a mindset. If you want to read a great book, very easy book to read, the book Mindset up here by Carol Dweck. She's a psychology professor at Stanford. She's on our advisory board, and she talks about building growth mindsets compared to fixed mindsets. And in a growth mindset, and I'm not going to show you her video because I said she's a psychologist, and she talks like a psychologist, right? So that's not wrong, right? So the essence of what her philosophy is a fixed mindset. Somebody that has a fixed mindset, they've been told all their life, boy, you're really, really talented. That was really, really good. And they feel like they achieved because of their abilities. What we want to develop is a growth mindset. And we do that by praising their effort, praising the process. Right? You got an A on your math because you did your homework. Right? You're shooting so well because you're really practicing and listening to the coach. Right? We're worried about praising the process instead of their result and their effort. And when we do that, we develop a growth mindset. Because what happens is this. Times get tough. Opponents get tough. And if somebody has a fixed mindset where they think they achieved just because of their ability, and now it's tough and they're not achieving, I must not be that good. And they shut down. They hit a plateau. But if we develop kids with growth mindsets, when they get to those tough times, they know they got there because they worked really hard and they practiced really hard and they did X work. They're just going to work hard and they're going to break through, right? And they're going to continue to improve and they're going to continue to grow. So we want to develop that growth mindset as much as we can. We can do that, right, by praising them the right way, with kid-friendly criticism when it's necessary. Okay? And